Guys, let's change gears here because we're running out of racetrack, and let's go counterclockwise. I'll start with you, Viva. You know, every year around this time when we wear this beautiful sacred little red flower in Canada to remember our veterans and our war dead, there is always, almost every year, going to be what I call a poppy bozo eruption. It's typically something like a branch office or store from a U.S. company like Home Depot, which several years ago kicked a elderly veteran off its premises who was selling poppies, not understanding the significance. Then a couple of years ago, Whole Foods telling their staff, you're not allowed to wear anything politically. Oh boy, within 2 hours of that news breaking, they did a complete 180, and the following year actually had poppies at their stores that they were giving out to free. That's how bad the backlash is. But Viva, what do you make of this? A judge ordering a prohibition of poppies while those in the court are on duty. I mean, it got the Nova Scotia Premier to slam this judge's order. Surely a judge in Canada understands the poppy, understands the significance. What's your take on this? This is the craziest poppy bozo eruption I've ever seen.
Well, there's an expression that 5% of lawyers give the other 95% of lawyers give the other 5% a bad name. When you understand who becomes a judge, that becomes even more concentrated.
Oh, no.
These people are not smart because they became judges. They became judges because they love the power and they are hungry and eager to use it. What the ultimate irony is, look, we'll see what happens at a higher level. It'll be like the Nova Scotia prohibition on outdoor protests to protest the COVID measures, which got overturned by the Court of Appeal. You know, these lower level judges, there are a lot of them, and they're not always the best qualified. But the irony is, you show up with a trans flag, a little 2S LGBTQIA plus pin, and you'll be the hero of the courthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Show up with something that actually celebrates the people who are actual heroes and actually fought for freedom, and not the freedom to tell your neighbors to shut up. Then it becomes political. Then it becomes the patriarchy. Then it becomes white man racism. The judge should have his ass handed to him. He should be removed from the bench. I forget exactly what the procedure is depending on the province. But these are idiot activist judges who love wielding their powers for political purposes, and they think they have the political permission slip to go this far. But wear a trans flag and see the praise that you get from that judge. I guarantee you.
Well, you're so right. And Natasha, what I find so perverse and profound about this issue, that does this judge not realize, had the Allies not won the Second World War, we are in a dictatorship. We are speaking German. There's no such thing as open courts and true justice anymore. To Viva's point that he's an activist judge, what cause is this judge promoting with a poppy ban?
I think they do understand our history. I think they know our symbols. I think they know the meaning, and I think they spit on them. I think they hate veterans. I think we had a prime minister who awarded $10.5 million to a convicted terrorist who killed a U.S. serviceman. I think they're despicable people, and I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think they spit on our veterans, on our traditions. I come from a military family. I know a lot of veterans, and now we have veterans being offered maids. So is it any shock instead of help? Is it any shock that there's a judge who doesn't want a symbol of Canadian excellence, of Canadian patriotism in the courtroom? It doesn't surprise me at all. I think, as Viva said, they're just lawyers in robes. That's all they are. They're lawyers who are lawyers for 10 years in robes who are good little liberals. And the liberals spit on our culture. They spit on our traditions. They hate our veterans. They have friggin' tampons in the men's washrooms at this point. Like, I can't put any lipstick on this pig. I just can't.
You know, Alexa, it was 6 years ago, almost to the day, when we watched the last Coach's Corner. He was speaking out for the poppy. He was wondering why people aren't wearing poppies. I can tell you, we've gone down to Young Dundas Square at 10 a.m. on November 11th on previous years and did a poppy count. And I would say, and remember, this is just 1 hour until the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month. Easily 95% of the people not wearing poppies. For Don Cherry to speak out against this, the cancel culture mob came after him and he was executed. So now we see this, I guess, anti-poppy rhetoric somehow getting into the court of the land. I find this, disturbing. I would think if there's any bastion where the poppy would be respected, it would be in the courthouse, but apparently not according to this activist judge.
Well, first of all, some judge or activists, we need to tell it like it's obvious. Sorry, I have a hard time with my English today. But the thing is, the poppy represent not only the veteran, but the people who died for our freedom and our democracy. And for some of the judges that are activists from the left, that represent also the colonization. So we have some people who are really against that, and we are seeing it. And we have like some judges that are proud of themselves because they didn't reject any refugee case that they had in front of them. Same if sometime they should have been refused, reject, deport. Some of the judges are really proud, saying like they actually did accept all of their cases. We have currently a justice system that are unfortunately hijacked by the radical left and radical left ideology. Mm-hmm. And I think this will just get worse if we are not doing something regarding it.
Yeah, and good for Premier Houston, who I don't normally agree with, for speaking up on this.